Hello everybody, my name is Leo, and with this video we share and discuss the Guitar Gear news of the last month. And well, despite the holidays period, a lot is going on. Let's start. First of all, I would mention IK Multimedia, which is about to release the Amplitube Tone X. The interesting thing here is that this is basically a software version of a Kemper. It is based on a machine learning technology so that both guitarists and bassists can replicate their own rig, including drive pedals. Basically, it is something similar to what Neural DSP has done with the Quad Cortex, which is also based on machine learning and can capture both amps and drive pedals. The obvious difference is that the Quad Cortex is an hardware platform which is pretty expensive at almost 2 grand, where the IK Multimedia is basically a software application that is available both for tablet, phone and computers, so that you can capture your amp tone with your already existing computer and audio interface. And then you can use the resulting tone as a VST in your digital audio workstation, which is pretty amazing. Actually, this is not the first software profiling platform available on the market, as also Moore has done something similar with their Moore G Labs app. So a comparison between the two platforms is gonna be for sure pretty interesting. And I have pre-ordered the new IK software, and we will for sure do some interesting tests and comparisons in the channel. Another interesting news from IK Multimedia is that the Tone X amp models will also be available via the new ToneNet platform, which is the IK Multimedia new online platform for tone sharing and social media. Over 1000 Tone X amps tones will be available in the ToneNet for download in the Tone X software. Furthermore, amps from IK and users will be released, creating a growing collection of tones. Finally, there is also an hardware accessory called Tone X Capture that should be connected to the output of an audio interface to feed your amplifier at just the right levels. The return line sends the sound back to the interface with the proper interaction between the amplifier and its speaker. I don't know if it is a must-have accessory or you can build profiles with your own audio interface. For sure, I will check it out as soon as I will be able to get the software. The software will probably be launched in September in 3 different versions. Tone X SC, which price is gonna be 100 euros at the beginning, I mean as the launch price, and then the price will become 150 euros. This version will provide us with 200 tone models. Then we have the Tone X at 150 euros and later 250 with 400 tone models, and then Tone X Max with a starting price of 250 euros and then 400 euros with 1000 Tone X models. The Tone X Capture module is gonna be priced at 200 euros and then 250 euros, including Tone X SE with 200 tone models as aforementioned. So a pretty interesting software platform that I'm pretty curious to test myself. And please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell not to miss my upcoming demo review. If you remember my last gear news video, I mentioned the fact that in the last month there were a lot of new delay pedals launched, like the Wampler Metaverse or the Line 6D L4 MK2 or the Keeley Halo. Well, this is the month of Tube Screamer clones. In fact, we have 2 new Tube Screamers-like pedals that are the Origin Effect Halcyon Green Overdrive and the Wampler Moxie Overdrive pedal, which is actually Wampler take of the TS10, a pedal which belongs to the long list of tube screamers. What I really like of the Origin Effect Green Overdrive is the way it reacts to your touch. In fact, this is specifically designed to give you a tube screamer which does not disappear from your mix when you turn down the volume of your guitar. The pedal retains and preserves the clarity of your tone even when you turn down the volume with the pedal activated. I have to say that it works pretty well, and if you want more info you can check out my demo review in the card above or description below. And now let's talk about Fractal. Now I have entered the waiting list for the Fractal FM9 since August the 29th, 2021, so basically 1 year ago. And I have just received an email from Fractal saying that, first of all, the FM9 is gonna be soon released. Finally, I would say. The other thing that the email is telling me is that Fractal is not gonna be releasing the FM9 original version, but the turbo one, basically with 10% more processing power and a price of 2,349 euros, which is basically almost 350 euro more than what expected, as the initial price was supposed to be around 2 grand. You have to take into consideration that this is basically the first bunch of FM9 that is gonna be released and shipped in Europe after 1 year from the first demos of the unit. In fact, I did a video comparing the FM3 versus the FM9 almost 1 year ago, that you can check out in the card above or description below. As far as I understood, the chip shortage hit hard Fractal, so that they also have to change the CPU of the FM9 to be able to release it, and this plus the inflation caused the price increase. Well, finally also in Europe we should be able to get the FM9, and this is for sure a good news, even if the price has become even more inaccessible for the large majority of the guitarists. Actually, I still don't know what to do. I mean, for me the FM9 is not such a compelling upgrade over the FM3. And with the Quad Cortex at 1,900 euros, you really have to be a Fractal fan to purchase the FM9. For sure, if I buy the FM9, I would do it only for the channel. Please let me know what you would do if you were me. Let me know if you are interested in some FM9 videos or some comparisons with other units. Please let me know your opinions and suggestions in the comment section below. Another news is that Neural DSP has released the firmware 1.4 for the Quad Cortex. This firmware brings to the Quad Cortex many new features. For instance, you have the Stomp mode bypass, which allows to assign the bypass status of multiple devices to one foot switch in Stomp mode, or you have an input gate available on all input blocks. It is bypassed by default when creating a new preset and on all existing presets. Then we have the swap scenes function, which allows to swap one scene's foot switch with another via the main menu. We have a mini voicer, which allows to add 2 pitch shifted voices on top of our signal, which is pretty interesting. The voicing library provides control over the root note, modes and chords for harmonizing as well as arpeggiating. We then have new amps like the Diesel Herbert and new pedals like the Vemuran Jan Ray, which is a pretty cool pedal. So, a lot of new features that, together with the looper and other functionalities aided with previous firmware upgrades, contribute to add value to the Quad Cortex. Nevertheless, I'm still missing the computer app and the possibility to load the Neural DSP amp plugins in the Quad Cortex. I would really love to load the Tone King Imperial plugin inside the Quad Cortex. The computer app and the plugin loading functionalities are really the two main things I hope Neural DSP will add to the Quad Cortex in the future firmware upgrades. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Another news I would like to mention is that Mesa Boogie has released the California Tweed 6v6 220. The new Mesa Boogie California line consists of an head, a 1x10 combo and a 1x12 combo. Each amp is rated at 20 watt and can be driven at the full 20 watt, 10 watt and 1 watt of power, thanks to a wattage switch. These amps are inspired by the 50s Tweed circuits, providing vintage tones but with modern, updated features and reliability. Essentially, Mesa has taken the original California Tweed 40 and 6v6 character and then made it a lot more manageable by lowering the power output. These amps are powered by 5 12AX7 and 1 12AT7 tubes and 2 6v6 power output tubes. They all feature silicon diodes for a rectifier. They also have a tube-driven spring reverb and a buffered series effect loop that are very welcome features in a good quality tube amp. These are single-channel amps with two inputs, normal input for clean to overdrive and low input for clean. The main controls are gain, treble, mid, bass, master, presence and reverb, plus the multi-watt output switch with 20, 10 and 1 watt setting aforementioned. The 1x12 comes with an 8 ohm Jensen Blackbird Alnico 40 speaker and the 1x10 has the same but smaller. Each amp is pretty expensive. In fact, prices are $2,099 for the 1x12 combo, $1,929 for the 1x10 combo and $1,849 for the head. Now, I'm mentioning these amps especially because since Gibson has acquired the Mesa Boogie, basically no Mesa amps are available in the store, at least in Europe. They are all sold out. This should be due to the supply chain issues deriving from the pandemic and maybe by the Gibson buyout and change in the distribution networks. Another theory stated that after Gibson acquisition, Mesa is asking to retailers to continue to be a Mesa Boogie retailer buy 250,000 worth of Mesa products, which is a lot of money. And that's basically why retailers are no longer keeping Mesa products, but you have to pre-order them. And in fact, on Thomann website, they are all on request. I'm not sure about the real reasons, but honestly, this is going on since more than a year and it is becoming pretty frustrating. Please, Mesa, take a look at the situation here in Europe and try to send some amps also to the good old Europe. We love your amps. Thank you. Please let me know your experience with Mesa amps and if you were able to get one in the last month. Let me finish this video as always with some music suggestions, so just that we can exchange some nice CD tips in order to discover together new music or discover again old classics. Here you have mine for this video and of course feel free to suggest yours. This time I would mention an album from Osnoy. Osnoy is very prolific and he has done a lot of records with many of them that are really great. For this video I would suggest an album from 2020 which is called Snapdragon. Well, this is a pure injection of energy and a masterpiece in terms of soloing. You can just listen to the first song where you have not only an incredible Osnoy solo but also an impressive trumpet solo from John Snyder that I'm listening over and over again. It's so incredibly perfect both technically, harmonically and melodically that I really love it. I've always thought that we as guitarists have to listen over and over trumpeters, especially for the way they are able to make their solo to sing and the way they use the silence, in brackets, I mean the pauses, between lines. In fact, they have to make pauses to breathe, and on the other hand, we as guitarists don't need to breathe. So I think we have to listen over and over to trumpeters, sax players, etc. to internalize the way they breathe and they make pauses. Coming back to the CD, another pro is that here there are amazing musicians, starting from the drum players, with Dennis Chamber, Dave Weckl and Vinny Colaiuta. Then we have Willie, James Janus on bass, Chris Potter on the sax, just to name a few. Great musicians for a fantastic album to listen and listen over and over again. We have now reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did it, please subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell and leave a thumb up. It would be of great help. If you're interested in my IRs, you can check out the link in the card above or the description below, where there is also a link to a playlist of songs of mine. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.